Good to see you all again.
Episode 2.
Yes. Holiday week.
That's why we've busted out our holiday wear.
Indeed. So, straight into the pattern challenge, Palazzo pants. What did you think?
I personally would like a pair or something. I definitely would like to make. Thank you very much. They're fabulous.
I think you'd be able to make them.
Yes, I will. But I need to finish. I have to actually start and finish the t-shirts that I want to make. So, priorities. But I thought it was a really good one. It's nice, still nice and basic, but we're getting into the finer details now.
Yeah.
So the pocket and the invisible zip. And
yes.
your waistband and side seam match.
So it was quite nice hearing that detail from the judges that they were going to be looking at.
Yeah, Tim can verify that because I always forget to say what the judges are.
Yes, I did write down. We want bold prints that are pattern matched with a pocket and an invisible zip.
Yeah.
And you know, that's what you then look for when you're judging, because I was quite surprised that there were a number of people who went for quite a small print. You know, I was expecting print like this, you know,
yes.
and some people did, but there were some that went quite small, and I thought that was going to go against them. But
Indeed.
I think they got away with it because there's still so many of them there.
Yeah, because pattern matching, as that was one of the criteria, that's harder on a small print, like Alex's little floral flowers.
Yeah.
And Liz as well with her animals, but she pattern matched the animals as well, so there was a top.
Yeah, that was great.
As well. That was impressive.
Now, what do we think about? I mean, as I say, I'm a new sewer, so I don't fully understand that history with the Palazzo pants of pocket and having the lining the same fabric. Why do you think there was a small group of them that decided to have a different pocket lining and going kind of against that trend?
Yeah, to be fair, I've seen a lot of nice trousers that do have. I actually think I used to have a pair that had the alternative pocket lining, and there were quite a few designers that did that alternative where on the inside it had the different detail. But I don't think this was the challenge for it, especially with the row and hard.
Who was it? Peter, Nicole, and Hazel, wasn't it, that went off?
The thing is, and I don't know whether Palazzo pants are definitely like this. I'm just going by what was on the show. But if you're going to use a contrasting pocket, you would expect that pocket to be cut away so you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Whereas the whole point of a Palazzo pant is that the pocket was in line with the seams on the side and in effect invisible. So the minute you start putting in a contrasting fabric, like we saw, when it was out by a little bit, it then created this slash down the side, which completely ruined the line of the trouser. If you can use pockets, but normally that would be cut away so that it becomes a feature.
Yeah.
Whereas this was the whole point, is they were invisible like the zip.
So do you think though, then Peter, Nicole and Hazel who did that, do you think Anya, like what you were saying, they did it because maybe they've had Palazzo pants before where their pocket has been different colour inside?
Possibly. The ones that I've seen are more structured trousers or structured items of clothing, I should say. You know, like nice jackets that had the alternative. But yeah, I don't know. I think they just fancied it and they thought, well, I'll do something a bit different. And like Nicole went full on. She even went with the alternative on the inside.
Indeed, on the waistband.
I was like, what are you doing? No.
The trouble is, this is a competition where you're given, I can't remember exactly how many, but it was like 3 or 4 hours to do that.
Yeah.
If you were going to do it at home where you could be precise and you could unpick it and restitch it if you needed to, then you might be able to get away with something like that because you would end up with something that was structured so it was hidden. But when you know you are under a time pressure and that you can't sit there and unpick it, don't take that risk. You've been told in the instructions not to do it. So, you know,
there are two different types of people. There are risk adverse, and there are those that are going to go straight at it, you know, and they are clearly going straight at it. So
yeah, well, anyway, and when you then analyse, I mean, it was Peter, Nicole, and Hazel, but maybe Peter and Nicole, they are in that same sort of field, aren't they? Do you think those two? So
well, after last week, I just wrote down that Nicole needs to just stick to the rules. She's one of these, she's veering off too much. Me and her are going to clash, I feel, because she's not listening to the judges, and then she's wondering why she's not doing it.
She most definitely pulled it back later in the show. Like
yes.
Now, what I
might
found
discuss
when we were going through the whole Palazzo pants, the pattern challenge, we actually didn't see much of the sewing as such because we were still jam-packed full of lots of backstories of all the sewers.
Yeah. But we did get to see different sewers that we didn't last week.
Yes, so we had a little focus on Ali and her golfing and her golfing skirts that she makes. She started to grow on me as a character, as a contestant.
Well, after this episode, I'm sorry, but Ali is now my favourite. So
yeah, I wrote down. I just for her Palazzo pants.
Everything I've written down in all 3 rounds.
Really?
Yeah.
She did incredibly well. I still quite like Therese as well for her details, but she got her invisible zip wasn't quite invisible on the Palazzo pants.
But I think
same with Alex there. He got a bit with his.
Don't even talk about Alex. I think the thing with Ali is that she just came across, like last week, and I sat here and said there was nothing that really stood out.
Yeah.
Ali just picked good fabric and sewed good lines, and her garment stood out. And actually, when we come to talk about the garment of the week, I thought she was going to get it, but we'll talk about that later on. But everything, I've just written good fabric, good skills, and she was choosing the right things to do for the right garments.
And with those Palazzo pants with her in mind, she got the placement right, because I know that was a big thing, wasn't it? About the balance. You can
also
put floral on your trousers, but you don't want them like sort of in certain places. You want it sort of.
And she also made sure she thought about making sure you didn't have a flower coming out of
certain areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's when you have that fabric, some fabric have a large area before the pattern repeats. So you've got to place the pattern on that fabric.
Yeah.
A clever point. So yeah, I think you're right with her from that point of view. But it was nice seeing some of the backstories. It was Mark. Has now kind of grown on me a bit more with his love for Doctor Who.
I like Mark anyway. I really like. He's got.
I think it's nice that we do get some of this backstory, but actually, I preferred it because obviously this is the same company that does the Bake Off. I preferred it that when we didn't really get any of that until the last episode when you found out about the backgrounds of your people.
Yeah, I think. Some of the arguments that I've seen on Instagram were just maybe there were too much of that background, so therefore you didn't see enough actual sewing.
Yeah.
So I kind of agree. So did you have a?
Though I was going to say, can we talk about the massive fail from this particular challenge?
Well, yes, it's got to be Fiona, isn't it?
No, I thought, oh my God, she didn't even pick the right fabric. She just got carried away with herself, and
I could understand why she thought that fabric was better, because you've got to remember this was holiday week, and if you're on holiday, you don't want a heavy cotton trouser. She was trying to go for something that would have been floaty, that you'd slip on because it's hot outside, walk down the beach, kick your flip-flops off and all of that. She was trying to do something that was very lightweight, except it was just way too lightweight.
Yeah, too far. And as you say, it's that whole consider your risks, and that was just too much of a risk. And she said it herself. She said she bigged herself up on her head, and she said, oh, I've got this, it's going to be fabulous, but didn't really think about what she had to actually do and to construct it really well. Like it was terrible. I loved it whenever she turned around, she goes, oh, do you think that was because of the fabric or something? And Esme turned around and was like, I think it's your sewing, actually. Yeah. Like, oh
yeah, she spent too much time pattern matching because it was so slippery, I presume.
Yeah, and there was no pattern matching.
Yeah.
She said, apart from her pockets, which you couldn't see. But like the waistband and side seam didn't.
No, right.
Well, no, because she'd cut it, right? But of course, it was so lightweight that the minute you try to sew it, it's just going to go like that anyway, and then everything was off.
Yeah, God love her. I felt so bad for her.
You had Fiona then rock bottom of the 11, and then you had Ali winning it there. Was there any others that stood out for you of like, that they were in the right place or perhaps the wrong place?
I wrote down the 3. So I wrote down Ali, and then, this is mainly based on the fabric, because again, there was generally good sewing there. There was, even even though Fiona's probably wrong, she can still sew. It was just wasn't pattern matched, and the fabric ultimately wasn't right. So I went more on the fabric, and I'd written down that I liked Claire's fabric, Mark's fabric, and Ali's, and I think that then made them slightly better off.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Claire was second from top, but that was that nice, like, kind of Venetian watercolory. Look.
It's holiday wear, isn't it? It's not what you're going to work in, so it needs to have that little bit of a flair to it.
What about you, Anya, and your sort of placements of one?
Yeah, I very much agreed. I even underlined Ali a few times, just writing "wow." I thought, yeah, she definitely had that. I really, really liked it. I think, yeah, I very much agreed. Very much agreed. And I did make wee notes, like Liz, the tiny pattern. I don't think it quite worked, but I liked it.
No.
But I think it would have been better on a different garment.
Yeah.
But her pattern matching was impeccable. You know, the tiny animals. I thought that was pretty good.
But then she spent too long doing that. That, you know, a bigger pattern would have been easier to match.
Yeah. But
so you had that round with Fiona bottom. Alex, who obviously we know was
he also messed up
gone.
That one.
He was seventh though in that list.
Yes, because I wrote down that Alex was only saved by people not doing as they were told, because the people in the bottom were the people who had done the contrasting pockets and everything like that.
Hazel and Nicole.
If they had done their pockets right, then Alex would have had to have been at the bottom.
Yeah. Because
they didn't do anything bad sewing wise, they just made bad choices.
Yeah, like every time Alex seemed to do something, you know, like the zip popped out, we hadn't quite done that right, and you know, the stitches didn't hold, or something, that didn't work. No, it's like, well,
I can now see your argument there, because I still very much believe that Alex shouldn't have gone, because I think there are a couple of other occasions where actually he was all right. Maybe the judges were a bit harsh, but when you say like Peter, Hazel, and Nicole went against the idea because of the contrasting pocket, I can see that, yes, that had they not done that, Alex would have been 10th with Fiona.
Yeah. Yes. I know. I very much think he definitely was. I'm kind of,
Well, it's because I was looking at the rankings and then thinking, well, if his last one in the transformation challenge, I felt he was a bit hard done by on that with his buttons.
Oh, no, sure, he didn't even do anything in the transformation challenge.
We'll get onto that in a minute.
Sorry,
but last week, I did try to stand up for him. First week, you want to give him a bit of a go. You think, he's having a go at it. This week, just confirmed he can't sew. I'd love to see one of his dancing competitions, because I have a feeling that by the time they got to the other side of the ballroom floor, they'd be stark naked because everything would have fallen off them.
Well, let's move on to then the transformation challenge with the towels.
Yes.
I mean,
what was the brief? It was create
a woman's garment from two towels.
Yeah.
I don't think they were explicit enough in their brief whenever they were telling people that it's something you just want to slip on and I don't think they were explicit in this, because whenever they were talking about it afterwards, they were talking about how it would be something you put on after swimming.
I thought that was sneaky.
Oh yeah.
I think they did not say that clearly, or maybe it was
people were trying to make like cocktail dresses, and then you cut to the judges who were going, well, you get out the pool and you just want to throw it on and stuff like that. And I'm like, that isn't what they're doing out there.
No, not at all. Like,
although you wouldn't want to go to a cocktail dress made out of terry toweling.
You would not. You would have, if you're going out on holidays, you would have gone home, sorted yourself out, put on something nice, gone out.
I suppose that's why Esme said go into the haberdashery, because she made it quite clear. Put zips in, put buttons in, put Velcro in, didn't she? Velcro? What was she thinking?
Well, because if you were just going to wrap it round you, instead of just tucking it in the top there, you just Velcro it so it stays, round you or something like that.
I like that we're talking. Yes, it's.
I know.
Well, that's where I'd wear mine.
So
full length, ankle to neck covering.
It was an enjoyable round, though. What can you do with two towels or
that's what made it not enjoyable. That was just ridiculous.
But no, come on, the people who did really well, I thought they were very clever. Like the play suit, Nicole's play suit, and Peter's.
Peter's like Star Wars.
fabulous.
Jedi hood thing was
But that's it. I literally wrote down that I liked Peter's. I liked Ali's because she'd done the layered one.
Oh, the rah-rah skirt, yeah.
And then I wrote that Mark's was not bad, and then I literally have written down that the rest are awful.
No, but did Trace not do the dress, or was that Mark?
No, Trace was the blues, the wonderful blues that faded through with the knots there and the layered. I loved that
but
one.
That was fabulous. That was proper. That would be something you definitely wore to the cocktail, for drinks afterwards. That was not something you put on after being out in the pool.
When those mannequins got wheeled out and you saw all of those towels there, it literally looked like someone's airing cupboard had exploded and somebody needed to come and pick up the pile of rubbish that was just there.
Oh, yes. I mean, some of them were terrible. Like Matt's, I mean, the little skirt that didn't fit. And yes, you can understand Alex here. He went from having a top and a skirt, and then he suddenly got rid of the skirt. Why did he get rid of the skirt?
He didn't have a top. He had 2 bits of fabric.
He hadn't finished. He had 2 bits of fabric pinned onto the...
It's like me going, oh, look, I'll make myself a new top. I'm done. It's not going to work, is it?
When he started, he did say he had a skirt. Why did he get rid of the skirt then? Why did he do it?
Well, they've got 90 minutes.
Yeah.
They've got 90 minutes, and I think he probably just blanks.
Yeah. But it just tickled me whenever he was trying to describe it as some sort of dramatic, artistic choice, where it was like, it just has an effervescence to it. I don't need the rest. I'm like, no, you could just say, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
I mean,
he just rubbed me the wrong way that time. I was like, no.
Oh, but also, just read the room. I mean, if you'd spun round, you could see people were trying to make like jackety type things, or things like that. If you were struggling for ideas, just have a quick look and see what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, have a look.
And that's got to be where experience comes into play. Because Peter said and Matt, they have made things, well, a lot of them have made things many times before. Improvising like that is hard, isn't it?
Considering you say that. You talk about Matt creating new things. Matt did the skirt was...
Yeah,
what?
and it didn't
finish.
That was the second time he's made something that didn't fit.
Yeah.
Because he did it last week as well.
No, was that not Peter?
Well, leave that to
Stuart
to sort that out. He's good with their names.
He didn't finish his big fancy dress at the back, did he? But Matt, considering he makes, as he said it himself, he makes these fabulous costumes, drag queens, and he made that skirt. I'm like, dude.
And it was quite a big gap, You think if you got your tape, you've got your mannequin right there. You swing your tape measure around. That wasn't like, I'm a centimetre out. It was like a good 10 centimetres.
So he made a wee bit of a mess of that. I was going to say, the more that the others were a bit boring, at least you had the likes of Mark, he decided to put pockets in, and there was a tie.
I didn't know whether Hazel had started to shine here now, because she was really thinking. She got that sort of suit, and then she put the frills over it. Didn't know whether she started to shine in this round.
I wouldn't know because I didn't write anything else down. I just said everything else was awful.
She had when you turned her around, she had the 3 bits of...
Yeah, she had the elastic. I think she went too far, though. She threw everything at that outfit.
Yeah.
She had this mountain of sparkly things and drapey things at the front, and had the elastic at the back.
Yeah,
I think
that was quite
just
sexy.
the elastic at the back, and she made it. Yeah, but it had too much. For me personally, it was like, oh wow, you fell into all of the things, and you added them all, and you sewed it up. Like the construction was very good, in regards to the elastic and the choice of 2 materials in the skirt. But it wasn't particularly complimentary, or there was something I couldn't put my finger on. I went, I'm not entirely sure. You didn't really pick 2 towels that went well, even with the contrast. You kind of want something. It, for me, I was like, oh no. But
that's where Ali did well with. That's where Ali did well with her rah-rah skirt, because the colours were just wonderful.
Yeah, and it's the same if you look at Peter, like his 2 towels, the way they worked well together. And it's that eye for
angle.
Yeah.
How do you go about that challenge? Just put yourself in there. There are some that will clearly be very clever and go like Hazel doing loads of things, and then Alex, who just clearly or some of them had a mind. Do you think there's two different types of people who one can really flourish and one will struggle in that? How would you do that?
You're exposed to as well, because Peter would see a lot of that kind of jazz in Brighton, and I'm just speaking from what I've seen. It reminded me of the surfer types. You can actually get something very similar. There's a surf company that does this sort of stuff, and actually it is very much a case of it has got the hood and it's got the nice drape, and it's something you pull on after you're getting out of the water. And it looked like a better version of what Mark was trying to do. And there was somebody else who also did a hooded towel thing. It looked basically like a better version. He just went with the nicer towels that had that nice drape and had the lightweight to it. He maybe has just been exposed to other things, and I think that's what it comes down to, is what you're exposed to.
Would you?
I think also we saw last week, poor Angelina. That's just not what she does. Mm-hmm. She doesn't transform things. She buys fabric and makes clothes. She doesn't say, "Here are 2 shirts." And I would never want to sew with terry toweling. I'd be worried that it would completely knacker my machine on top of all of that loops as it was anyway. And we saw that, I think, with Fiona or Ali's, the machine started clunking up there. But yeah, I mean, if you're creative, you can have a load of stuff chucked at you, and you have that bit of vision, and you can, you're very good at drawing those sort of figures and be able to drape all that stuff on there. Whereas I would just struggle. And I'm not saying I'd have been as bad as Alex, but I probably would have gone for something more that was more wraparound rather than trying to construct sleeves and everything, because I would not know how to do that.
Yeah, you're right. And some clearly were constructing and making an outfit, and some were, just sort of tying and
it's 90 minutes. I mean,
not long.
No.
To come up with the idea and then think, okay, now I need to construct and sew it.
Yeah. And to think of that from the very start. So when you're doing it, you kind of have to have your idea firm in your head from the very start. It's not something you can get, 30 minutes in and go, I'm just going to change it all. You have to.
Well, I think that's what happened with Alex, is that he kind of started off and was doing one thing, and then he decided to change it. And then you've got to look at the time and go, I've got 30 minutes left, or I've got 20 minutes left. I'll just have to do what I can with what I've got.
Yeah.
So on that round, we had Matt rock bottom because of that skirt didn't meet.
Fit,
Alex was just one up, understandably so. And then we had Peter and Nicole again, not joint, Peter won, but
Peter won,
Yeah, I think I have to say for Nicole, she's the only one that went that way with it. Like, she made an actual play suit with shorts and something. You could tell she also does a lot of stuff on the beach.
Yeah, lots of making.
Her thing.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't like it, but there we go.
They were all the rage last year, so.
But Peter's was stunning. I mean, I can see why that won. Did you agree with him being the winner there on that round?
Yes, definitely.
He was outstanding.
One to watch out for then, for sure. So then the made to measure round.
Yeah. I think there's definitely. Yeah. I think this definitely cut out a lot of people and their lack of detail and things.
I mean, a shirt is hard. I mean, there's so many elements to the shirt, isn't there? The button, the yoke, the collar. That's going to really, really test your abilities, isn't it?
But also, they don't normally do a male model challenge until later on in the competition. Second week in, when the majority of them are female, who perhaps will not make clothes for men, that put a lot of them as well on a bit of the back foot, I think. And you can understand why they do it later on, because 5 or 6 weeks in, you've got good sewers left. But for second week as well, to make a shirt for a man when you perhaps don't ordinarily do that, but I think we had some good stuff come out of it.
Yeah, I thought there was some really fab things that came out of it. And people...
Just so many to talk about there. So many.
Well, I've got my judging criteria. So
yeah,
we had. We need to make sure there was pattern matching again, and they wanted symmetry, especially around the neckline. And they were looking for skills with things like pockets and pleats, and how they decided to do that. So again, you got your basic shirt, but are you going to put your pocket on? How are you going to do your pleats in the back? Are you, and making sure that your collars are symmetrical.
And those points in the corners, some of those were just exquisitely done.
Yeah.
I was so impressed.
Yes. And then with the contrasting colour, I have to say I loved Hazel's with that contrasting colour.
And Ali as well.
Oh, the pale blue.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Well, that's why I thought that was going to get Garment of the Week. I thought that she'd done that brilliantly.
Yeah. And the Italian model that she had as well.
Stuart, calm down.
Medic.
Yeah. But it was, and I love a raglan anyway. Even when I'm knitting jumpers, a raglan shirt is where it comes down there like that. It's so much easier to sew as well. So she'd done a good choice.
Yeah. And her material is that wee bit different as well. And just the finish on hers was just outstanding. I thought she really shone this week for me. She demonstrated her detail and consistency this week. I thought she did really well.
So what about Nicole's then? Ting, how did you feel about her then?
Well, what have I got? Oh, yeah, because I just don't write anything down. I just assume I don't like it. I thought that she took on a lot with the pin tucks, and obviously it got to her with that. I'm not going to read out what I wrote down here because it's not broadcastable. But I think that she got there in the end. They have a lot longer to do that challenge. And it did add some nice detail into that shirt, having those pin tucks.
Yeah, I thought hers was awesome. The end result was just stunning because again, that added that something a bit different, and it worked. Yeah. And it worked this time, where she had it on both sides and across the pocket. And I liked her material as well. It was lovely and summery. And he said he wants to grow out his mustache, and
I can only assume she pulled it out though, because when she had her little mini breakdown, it did look awful. You could see it had gone wrong. So she must have had time to unpick all of that and redo it, because it wasn't there when they judged it.
No.
And that's where the editing kicks in again. But
indeed. And if you said their criteria was pockets and pleats, you can understand why she was high up there with those pleats. And you can understand why Mark was up there with his invisible pockets.
Oh my God, you could not see those pockets at all. At all.
Well, you see, this is where, I'd written down that Ali had got to get Garment of the Week because I just thought it looked stunning. And I'd put down for Mark that I loved the fabric, and I thought that they were going to hammer him because he hadn't pattern matched here. So when you did the shirt up, it didn't match down the middle, and I thought, that was what they were talking about. But then, of course, he'd managed to do those pockets, and everything else was just perfect. And I thought, well, I suppose you can accept that it doesn't meet here, because that is always going to be buttons and everything, and you might not even have it done up. You might have it undone. So the fact that everything else was perfect after that, but I thought they were going to pick him up on that, which is why I didn't think he was going to get Garment of the Week. So when he did, actually, I was pleased for him.
Material choice, I love.
That was stunning colours.
Yeah, absolutely stunning.
They all made great choices with fabrics, I think, didn't they?
Alex didn't.
I wasn't that fussed on Matt's choice. I didn't like the colour.
Matt.
He had the
Frida Kahlo.
Yes.
I didn't even write that one down. That didn't really do anything for me, that one.
It had a really nice inverted pleat and the detail, but the material, I was like, oh no, that's quite almost really autumnal kind of colours, and a bit.
It was dull from that point of view. Was it? I don't fully understand. Do they source their own fabric for this final challenge?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
It seems to come across like that in the editing.
Yeah, because I think if I remember, Claire talked about she wanted material that was.
I've got that written down. Alpaca.
Yeah, but she ended up with her llamas instead.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought Claire was good last week, and I unfortunately I wrote down that I thought it was just a bit boring, but it was very well executed. I just didn't think, compared to the others where you had the pin tucks, you had the nice collars and everything, she didn't do anything wrong.
No.
It wasn't anything unfinished, but I think style-wise, against these others that were a bit more fitted, or, it just was a bit boring.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, it comes back to your criteria that they were saying pockets and pleats. Yes, it perhaps didn't have enough of that, which is why the others perhaps were more.
Because I did like her fabric and everything else. I just thought it looked
could have done a bit
too
more
simple.
with, like she did. Her pattern matching with the llamas was very well done. You know, as Patrick pointed out, there was no magic llama where half of it was missing, so everything matched up beautifully down the center. But it was, once you see it, it's not very. It needed a bit more oomph.
Yeah. So as this round was progressing, again they honed in on Fiona with this whole timing of the pockets.
Yeah.
Well, that was her own fault. I'm sorry, because she decided not to put the pockets on, and then Patrick said something, and she decided she was going to put the pockets on, and lo and behold, she ran out of time.
Yeah. But the thing was, Fiona, or that she didn't get it finished.
That's it. She didn't finish it though.
Yes, but what she had finished, her collar, the points was really good. Yeah. She had her details, her material, her pattern matching was really, really good. Yeah. So she had everything apart from pockets. And even if you looked at the pockets, like they matched as well. So there was pattern matching there with the cards and the pockets and all of that. So she, apart from having to pin on the pockets, and was she missing buttons as well? I can't remember.
I think she was.
Yes, I've got it written down here, because this is where my argument comes with her going or not going. Not finished. Buttonholes were in, but buttons weren't sewn on.
Yes, so she was missing that bit of detail, and the pockets weren't finished. But everything else, the collar was incredibly well done. Her detail, all of her other sewing, as Patrick pointed out, he said, this was beautifully done, just you needed to have finished.
Yeah,
but you look at Alex, I'm sorry, you look at Alex. And he was,
right, so this is where I get my argument with Alex, right? Because I had to rewatch it, so I'm perhaps looking maybe too detailed. Alex said at the beginning of the round that when he was talking about his design, he said he had a lot of experience working with that stretch fabric, but he also said he said he also wanted the shirt, because of dancing and how the style they have it, he wanted to design it with it open. So he knew he was only going to have 2 or 3 buttons at the bottom and not have buttons continue at the top. Yet he got really knocked down from Patrick about that.
Forget the buttons. Forget the buttons. The bottom of his shirt was like that.
His shirt was awful.
None of the pattern matched.
It was like that.
But when Patrick said, "Oh, you've only got 2 buttons," and he went 3, and I would have gone up higher. Well, he designed it not to go up higher though, so I don't know how he can be penalised for that.
No, but what we're seeing because of that is bad choice of fabric, not understanding the brief and creating something that was required, and not understanding what he's doing. Choice of the fabric, what was he thinking? And then when he thought, I have clearly done this before, I have lots of experience, and he messed it up so very badly. That was a big difference at the end of the you wouldn't wear that, even if it is only 3 buttons at the end.
He could have held his own with Patrick if that shirt had been perfectly made and only had 3 buttons, and say that's how it was designed, and Patrick couldn't go back on that. But you're looking at the shirt where the hem is like this, the pattern's not matched, it's not matched by a little bit, it was out by a couple of inches. And it just wasn't finished nice anyway. And for this is someone, again, who said that they can work with this sort of fabric, they use it when they do these costumes. Like I said, that must be the most obscene ballroom dance you've ever seen. There'd be bits of fabric flying off everywhere.
Let's just hope he's an incredible dancer. And that just detracts from the...
It will be interesting what people will say in our comments down below, whether they think it should have been Fiona or whether they
What I think it is he's a young dancer and he's trying to big himself up. Or not a young dancer, but new to sort. It's like me saying, I have loads of experience sewing with jersey. I do not. Do you know what I mean? And I'm still very new to this. I think he might be just a bit more experienced than I would be, maybe a year or so in, and is still in his head much more advanced than he actually is. And
I
get carried away with it.
I was his advocate last week. I was sticking up for him because, Angelina, unfortunately, I think it was right last week that she went home. In the same way here, Fiona had a bad week, but if you take her sewing skills compared to his, it's just not comparable.
Okay. Here. maybe.
And what do you think about, moving on from this? I know you're just looking for controversy, but I was very surprised with Peter. His wasn't, he had the big sleeves, and but his collar was all bumpy, and his detail just wasn't there. I was a bit surprised, considering his previous with the beautiful towel transformation. And I thought, oh, I'm kind of disappointed. What has gone on here? You know, I was a bit disappointed with his shirt. It wasn't, for me, it wasn't great. I expected more from him because he's done.
I completely agree, because I've written nothing about his shirt, so it didn't obviously do anything for me at all.
Yeah. Okay.
The only other one that I wrote about, and Anya is going to stick up for her, I know, was Liz's. She's obviously got this 90s vibe, which you and I, having lived through it, and I can understand, you know, last week she had that dress that was, I remember, you know, girls at school wearing those sorts of things in the sixth form, very flowy, you know, that sort of style. And I just thought that this was too baggy. And, you know, when you're given a model to actually make it fit, and everyone else is panicking about, you know, has it done up? Have I got enough here? She didn't need a model. She could have just made what the hell she liked, because she made it so baggy that it would have fit any of those models she had.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called made to measure, isn't it? You're being tested on your skills, because you practice at home, but actually you're going to get a model that you've never seen before, and you have to adjust your patterns to a model.
I just felt she didn't have to worry about that, because she could just do what she wanted, because it was always going to be baggy, because she'd gone for that 90s style. And again, I remember those shirts the first time round. We're at that age now where things are coming back. But, you know, I just felt that everyone else has, you know, had to work a lot harder to make it fit. And she got off easy by just making something very baggy.
Yeah, but she was also, I wasn't massively wowed by hers at all. I just wrote down good matching, missing buttons. So that's all I'd written down for her. So I wasn't that bothered by hers at all. I think for me, the standouts were Nicole and Mark. And Therese, I felt sorry for her, because she had that lovely box pleat at the back, the pattern, but her parrot was upside down on the other side. So she don't know how she'd done that. Yeah.
What about? I said I loved her fabric. I loved the parrots. I thought that she chose them really well.
I talked about Hazel because I thought from that transformation round she'd done something really well, and now this one. Are we now starting to see more of skills from Hazel? Because I really love that shirt.
So
I just wrote good.
Yeah.
Which for me is high praise.
Yeah. She did well. Her pocket had the nice top stitch detail.
Yes.
And
I think also this is where maybe what do you call it? You can be kind of influenced a lot by the fabric and the colours, because chocolate brown and pale blue, or that sort of that match for me just works really well. And she had that brown, that sort of bluey turquoise, and it just worked. So therefore you kind of love it more. So you then,
although
you more the choice of fabric or the colour. Does it make you think I like that?
I didn't like the pocket in that blue. I love the fact that she'd chosen to highlight that blue in the collar and everything else. I just felt that the pocket then was too much, and I thought it was a bit too low where she put it, and I thought, and that dragged my eye to it. I mean, obviously no one else picked up on that, and perhaps that was how it was supposed to be, but I loved the blue accents.
Yes.
I just didn't like the big blue bit there.
I think it would have been fabulous if she'd done the pocket in the same material, but had picked out like a blue thread or something to do that top stitching in, to highlight that.
So when you can double fold your pocket over, so you get a little bit showing, and you know, that could have been a thin blue stripe that went across there.
So similar to if what you call her, I've forgotten, with her lab pockets. She done nice
even just the whole top bit there.
Yeah.
One to watch though, do you think, Hazel?
Yes.
I think she's on dodgy ground, because she was one of the ones that didn't follow the rules, and if she keeps pushing the limits like that, that could see her eliminated before her time. She's got the skills.
Definitely. You could see, even with the transformation challenge, the more I didn't like the final result. The choice of detail that she did with the nice skirt and that elastic at the back. So she has the brain for it, and I think she does have the detail. Yeah, as you say, I think as long as she doesn't get carried away with herself, it'll be grand.
Yeah.
Okay, so we then get the garment of the week, and surprised that it was Mark's shirt and his pockets, or not?
No.
Well, like I said, I thought Ali was going to get it, and although I loved Mark's shirt, I thought they were going to pick him up on that front seam. But when it was revealed, you couldn't say that he didn't deserve it because you couldn't see those pockets; they were perfect.
I actually completely forgot. Whenever his model was coming forward, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Yeah." Do you know what I mean? Because you couldn't see them at all. I was like, "Oh wow."
I loved the teal fabric with those big white flowers. It just was perfect.
Beautiful fabric. I want that fabric. It was stunning.
When you see how his journey is on this episode, he actually did quite well. We saw that that backstory of him, didn't we? So is he one to watch?
Oh, definitely. I think he's a fantastic eye for detail.
Okay, let's just hear before we finish off then. Your top 2 or 3 or ones to watch, or your favourites so far on you.
No, I'm still loving Mark. I loved him last week, and I said, he was definitely outstanding, and I really like him. And as we said, I think as well, Ali is definitely coming to the fore as well. Peter seems to be a bit hit and miss. So he seems to have these lovely creative ideas, but sometimes just misses on them.
Okay. Brilliant. All right.
Yeah.
Ting, what about yours? Your favourites or your ones to watch?
I think I'm just going to agree with Anya. I liked Mark last week, and so I was pleased that he'd got that this week. But I thought Ali was, they focused more on her this week, and we didn't really see her much last week. No. And she's clearly very good. Yeah. So I think the pair of them are the ones to watch. There might still be a couple of dark horses in there that we haven't seen fully, but from what we've seen so far, those two have got the ability to go far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I really, there was something about Ali that just made me go, I like her. You kind of related, or you felt like you could relate in some way, and so she stood out for me. And my one to watch, maybe Hazel. I still like my Therese and Nicole. I'm still standing by those two.
Yeah, Therese is still very good. I think she's definitely going to come to the fore more as we see.
But it's whether she's got that creativity and that originality. She's got the skills, but when you look at like Nicole and some of them, and maybe Ali, they've got that sort of, they've got a bit more that wow factor, haven't they?
Yeah.
No, I still think Nicole's going to trip herself up. She's trying to be too much.
You never know. This might temper her a wee bit. As she messes up, she might temper herself, and it might be interesting to see.
It could be, because if you remember last year, Ricardo in those first couple of episodes was just so over the top.
Yeah.
And then he came back and really focused and, made it all the way through to the end.
Yeah.
So you're both glad that Alex went then?
Yes.
So next week then, Children's Week. Now, we know what's happened before in Children's Week. Are we excited about that?
I'm never really very excited about Children's Week, but I think it'll be interesting to see the detail and when you have to make little clothes.
Yeah. What about you, Ting?
Well, it's just not as interesting because I don't have children to make clothes for or anything. It's a scale thing, I suppose, with that one.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm loving it because it obviously fits in with our the business strategy of the shop at the moment, isn't it? With fabric and wool for making either quilt blankets or little cardigans knitted, and now dressmaking. And we're now going down that dressmaking route, aren't we, with patterns? Yeah. And actually a lot of the stuff that's been purchased this week, weirdly, has been, well, not weirdly, I suppose it's understandably so, sold a lot of jersey fabric this week, some of our Katia one.
Right.
And people are making some children's clothes. So I will be looking next week really with intent to see what they do, see some patterns, and learn some skills as well myself. Yeah. See if I can do another children's shirt like I did last year.
Was that when I walked in and you chucked the collar at me because you couldn't do it?
It's hard. It is hard. I couldn't work out the instructions.
I believe it was here. You do that.
I'm upside down and getting that bit, this bit attaches to that bit there. So I had to get a YouTube tutorial for it to make sense. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. It's dungarees. I think I spied some dungarees in that little montage. Did you?
Oh, with all this extra time, you could do your own 90-minute challenge, couldn't you?
It would scare the living daylights out of me.
I think we should be able to do that, Anya. Get him on here and time him for 90 minutes.
It would be good. I mean, we're talking.
Chat. He can do that. It'll be fine.
We're talking about it, aren't we? It might be fun for us to have a go at a 90-minute one, for us to actually realise, yes,
What's this you. We're the judges.
Great episode then. Lovely chatting with you all about it. It's good fun coming and hearing people's opinions about who went and who stayed and who got what, don't you think?
Yes, definitely.
Yes,
yeah, we love a good natter, let's be honest.
Oh, wonderful.
We should carry on all afternoon at this rate.
Let me just go get some coffee.
Go and put my Palazzo pants on.
So you'll do that, dance around the room. You're going to make your top, Anya, go back to your top. You've cut the pattern out now?
No, I've cut out I've just had a very busy week, but I now have washed all the material and it's now ready for ironing and pinning and cutting and things. So.
Well, there's no rush. We'll see how we do. All right. Well, yes, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you haven't seen the last episode, it will be down there if you want to see episode 1.
Up there.
Or up there, yeah.
Or over there.
And make sure you comment and let us know. Get involved in the comments down below. And like and share and tell all your friends. Yeah.
Well, stay safe, everyone. Look forward to next episode and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.